It's not good. So, part of the transition from moving from a warm, insulated, cosy, centrally heated house onto a damp, cold, sometimes mould appearing boat with no heating system is that those of us with lung conditions and sensitive lungs can end up in a right old mess. So Carly seems to have developed pneumonia, which isn't good. She's been given some antibiotics, but it is now my mission to do what all hunter-gatherers are put on this earth to do. It's to protect the family. How do we do that? We're going to warm the place up. So if it sounded like I was being a little bit light-hearted about the whole pneumonia thing, the reality of the matter is Carly is asthmatic, and so with the whole corona going around and the winter kicking in, the boat getting cold, we've got to warm it up. We've got to warm it up, we've got to get the boat as dry as possible, make sure there's no mould or anything that develops in these kind of environments, and fix her up. And the boat too. So I bought some supplies, and now we're going to find some bits, and that's the project for this weekend. Yeah, heating it up. So basically I bought one of these diesel heaters, and one of the things we need to do is lift it off of the floor for where we're looking to fit it. So I've got a base plate that comes with it as part of the pack, but as I say, no means to lift it up, so I thought I'd come and have a little scout around and see if there's something we can find without forking out another 70 quid for a custom made stand. So let's see what we've got. One man's junk is another man's riches. Something like that anyway. So I think we found a couple of bits here. See if we can repurpose these as platform extensions. So I know at this point in proceedings that that is not the prettiest thing ever, but as I say, at this point it's in its infancy. It's made out of scrap. We're going to polish it up. Afterwards, it'll look brilliant. It'll look good. My main focus is twofold. Firstly, living on a boat on a budget, and secondly, warming the place back up so Carly can fight off this pneumonia. Both uber important. This is Mikkel.
Hey, how's it going?
Mikkel is a boat bodywork specialist. Is that how we would describe your talents?
Yeah, about, you know.
Apparently he's the most competitive price man in all of the Solent. So yeah, he also very kindly has, as well as refurbishing carbon masts, he has also kindly given them a little look at, mate, look at that, I can see myself in that. So this is a Chinese diesel heater. This is a fairly inexpensive piece of kit. The whole thing came to like just over £100, but that is not where the story ends. Now, I just want to caveat this by saying, if you happen to be watching this on YouTube and you've been searching for a how-to video, this is not the one. I am not an expert in anything heating related. I'm just sharing, as is the case with every video on this channel, I'm just sharing what we're doing, how we're doing it, but it's definitely not a how-to. If you're thinking about installing one of these, all power to you, do your own research. So we bought this Chinese diesel heater, and the story doesn't end there. I'm not going to go into too much detail about all the fixtures and fittings, but through a company called Mikuni Heating, also known as MV Heating, we bought some additional parts which were upgrades to take this from, you know, a vehicle like a van install to a suitable installation for a boat, and there are some differences in kit that you're going to need. So yeah, MV Heating, they are in no way, shape or form sponsoring this video. They haven't given any of this stuff for free. As you can see, we paid for it all with our own hard-earned money. So this is a completely unbiased, well, it's not even a review, but I'm just sharing what we've done. So this is the exhaust that comes with the Chinese diesel heater. It's not very long, and it also comes with this little muffler here, and one of the very first things you see both on the Facebook page and other videos and the comments and feedback is that these are not suitable to go inside a vehicle. These are designed to be placed outside of a vehicle. There's somewhere where the soot and moisture condensation and some CO2 can drip, carbon monoxide, sorry, can drip out of. So as I say, you want to have that maybe underneath a bus or underneath a van or whatever, not inside a boat. So they're gone straight away. They were replaced with this marine grade, marine specific exhaust. This is quite a lot longer for where we're going to want to install the heater. It has again a built-in silencer, and this one is a sealed unit, so there'll be no nasty fumes sneaking in whilst we're in the boat. The next thing we replaced was this. So this came with the Chinese heater. This is a fuel line. Again, a lot of people have read about this degrading quite quickly, getting brittle, splitting, just not quite being fit for purpose. And obviously anybody who's been in a sailing boat for any long period of time knows that they get smashed about quite a lot in a heavy sea. So you want something that's going to be a bit tougher than that. So we ordered this. This wasn't actually from MV Heating. I just bought this online, probably on eBay or Amazon, I can't remember. Amazon, I think it was Amazon. I'll pop a link in the description so you can see exactly where we got it from. But yeah, it's a much more heavy duty. I don't know if you can sort of see that. It's not doing a great job of, but you get it. It's yeah, it's just more fit for purpose. Much more rugged, much heavier duty, and as I say, you've got this much thicker outer layer of hose. Okay, so the next upgrade was these Jubilee clips here. They come in a bag. The Chinese diesel heater diesel clip. So the Jubilee clips that come with the Chinese diesel heater, they're not very sort of strong or rugged looking. They're also not stainless steel, so in the context of a saltwater environment, probably aren't going to last you too long. So save yourself the bother and just don't fit them in the first place. We actually got some proper stainless steel
fit for purpose Jubilee clips here. So, we also bought some heavy duty stainless steel exhaust clamps and smaller, again, stainless steel Jubilee clips here for the fuel hose, and then obviously some exhaust clamps, again all stainless steel, so they're a bit more hardy. We're going to have quite a long run of exhaust, and one of the things that somebody might mentioned that if our exhaust lifts too steeply, and then we're going to have the gooseneck at the end, stop water getting in. This is one of the problems we might face, is a build-up of soot and so and moisture. So some sort of condensing, like pigtail unit attachment, we could potentially put in to try and deal with that, and then maybe have it running off into the bilge or something. Some other people also came up with the idea that if you kept your exhaust burning hot enough, if you had your heater running at a high enough temperature and you insulated the exhaust, that would maintain a level of heat inside the exhaust that would burn up any of that, so you shouldn't deal with sooting up, which seems to be a problem for some people. The other thing we really want to make sure is on a wooden plastic boat, this exhaust is going to get exceptionally hot, and so if it's going to be passing through areas on its way to its exit, we don't want it to be able to sort of anything to become, you know, anything combusting and burning. So we got some of this PVC mixed with fiberglass exhaust lagging insulation, if you like. So hopefully the plan is that will be that will never get any hotter than you're capable of touching, which would be great, and as I say, it will serve those two purposes. If for any reason it doesn't, if it's not quite good enough, then we can get some more additional heavier duty lagging to go on the outside of this again, and as I say, both from a fire hazard perspective and a de-sooting or a preventative sooting, you know what I mean. So a couple more bits we had to buy. This skin fitting, stainless steel skin fitting, again from MV Heating, for the boat, and wasn't cheap either. And then the next thing is just some lagging, some insulation for the ducting, just to again make sure that the area where the ducts are running through aren't necessarily getting hot and we're losing heat, and what's coming out the other end of the ducts is as warm as it can be. Again, all from MV Heating. I'm sure you can find this stuff elsewhere, but as I say, they were just around the corner from us. Made sense just to go there and pick their brains and the bits and pieces that we needed. So that's probably about as much detail as I'm going to go into. The reason why we upgraded some bits. The heater itself, as I say, cost us about £100, so cheap diesel heater. But with the additional upgrades, we spent £249 and 69 pence on all these additional bits, as I say, to make it more suitable for a boat, hopefully. And yeah, so 350 quid, and then then we need a stand to put it on. That was about an extra 60 or 70 quid, but a little bit of scrapyard challenge managed to pull something together there. So now all that remains is, can I fit it? So let's see how that goes. Now, most people that install these heaters generally put them somewhere at the back of the boat, the aft of the boat, whether it be in a locker or in the engine bay. We have no room in the engine bay whatsoever, and the only locker that we happen to have hasn't got an awful lot of space in it, and it's difficult to get into and or duct anything back into the boat. And the two areas that we really want to focus on keeping warm and dry are the forward cabin, where we sleep, and the main saloon, where we spend a pretty decent amount of time too. Anything on top of that is a bonus really, and we'll sort of see how we get on with the heater and how it performs in terms of thinking, do we duct it any further, do we duct it into the forward head, do we duct it into the aft cabins. Again, we've got a powerful enough heater, I think, that we have the option as we go, but we've got a slightly unique positioning of where we're looking to put it, and it's right here. So this is where it's going to be going, right there. One of the considerations to think about also is the air intake. Big debates between whether it should be inside or outside of the vehicle. The inside the vehicle argument is you're running a more efficient system. You're not having to heat up exceptionally cold air coming from the outside. The counter argument to that is you're essentially recirculating stale air. Our plan of attack, when we looked into this, when we have the diesel heater running, as well as keeping ourselves warm and dry and keeping Carly's pneumonia hopefully at bay, the other thing really is airflow and circulation to help with condensation, to help with mould and all that horrible stuff that can happen on a boat. So we're going to be having open hatches, and we're going to be creating an airflow through the boat whenever we have the heater on anyway. So the idea really being that we'll have a whole circulating system. So it will never really be stale air that's drawing in, but it will be slightly warmer air than coming from the outside, so the system should run more efficiently. That's the thought process anyway. So yeah, feel free to share your thoughts on that. Again, I'm no expert. You know, do your own research if you're looking to install one of these. But this is just sharing my train of thought as and when. The next thing we need to do is to start cutting holes in the boat, which always feels a bit nerve-wracking. So we've enlisted a little bit of help from Frank, who also lives in the marina here, also known affectionately as the mad scientist, who has... You didn't know about that now?
No, I thought there was more of a...
No, well, I mean, some people who... no, so he's come over to help us install the heater. He's installed way more of these than I have, so...
Yeah, I installed one.
Exactly.
It's more.
we have some backup. So if anything goes wrong, it's Frank.
We can blame someone else.
Yeah. I'm sure your insurance company will love you.
They actually watch this sometimes.
The water tank's behind us.
And the obligatory bomb sight shot because some kind of job is being done on a boat, of course.
Hello. Well, the end is near.
We're getting there. Fuel tank has been built. Hasn't been mounted yet, but we'll get around to that in a bit. Let's warm you up first. Right, so let me bring you up to speed. It's Saturday morning. The diesel heater has been installed for about a week now, but there's a couple of finishing touches after having installed it that I felt needed to happen. And I'm just going and picking up the last piece of the puzzle now. And as I was walking back down the pontoon, this pontoon, to here, I just happened to look across the river. I don't know whether my eyes are deceiving me, I probably can't see it from here. But this boat here looks like it looks like quite a distance away from the pontoon, so I'm not sure whether a mooring line's broke or maybe they're just quite loose. I'm not sure. It was quite windy last night, so I'm just going to hop in the dinghy, pop over and see that everything's all right. Doesn't seem to be any damage, luckily. I think they got away pretty unscathed. I say just the one mooring line broke. Always feels a little bit wrong just getting on somebody else's boat when they're not here, but I think situations like this is perfectly okay. I wouldn't mind if anyone wants to jump on my boat if they see a mooring line snap, that's for sure. Can't actually see a name on the boat unless the name is actually just Classic, but yeah, whoever owns this boat, Classic, in the middle of the river, if the lines look completely different to how you normally have them, that's why it broke free. Right. Okay, so now our good deed is done for the day, and before we unwrap and start installing the final pieces of the puzzle to the diesel heater installation, I think I'm going to first do something about this. That's probably going to be the most jarring cut in history. But yeah, all trimmed up, Tintin is back. I've got a few additional bits which I just want to put in. This heater has actually been installed for about a week now, and upon reflection, having observed it for a week, there's a few tweaks and changes I want to make. So the first one, you've already seen this little fellow briefly, and this is... These are a couple of brackets which are going to hold the exhaust in place. So yeah, we've got some oversized holes which we've drilled for the exhaust to pass through, and the exhaust is lagged as well and insulated to try and obviously reduce the heat output. But regardless, you know, the boat obviously moves around an awful lot. It's quite a long run of pipe, and I just want to make sure that we're doing all we can to hold it firmly centralised within those holes. Hello mate, newcomers join in. Did you want something you wanted to say as well about the, you like them? So this is just going to hold the exhaust in place. Yeah. Right, no food. There's no. Okay. Morning. Thanks. Just woke up. This is him literally just getting out of bed, ready to start the day, aren't you, mate? Hey, you gonna go for a walk? Okay. All right. Okay. Can I? Do you mind if I just finish this? All right. Okay. Where was I? Yes, brackets, exhaust brackets. So we're going to have these clamps to hold it in place, keep them centralised in those large holes, and then on top of that, just to be potentially a little bit overkill, we're going to put some lagging around the lagging. This is high temperature pipe lagging, and again, I just got this off of Amazon. I think I'll pop any links to anything I bought down below. This I got from a company called British pipeclamps.co.uk. Again, no affiliation or anything. We bought them, paid money for them. So I'm going to get this installed. Now I'm going to put these bits and pieces on, and then I'll give you a guided tour of what we've done and see how it works. It's cool. I've had this burning everywhere from full settings to the lowest power, and there's no heat marks or burn marks. As I say, the exhaust is lifted up off of the ground and it's lagged, but there's a couple more additions I'm going to put in place, again, just for the whole peace of mind thing. As I say, now we've had it up and running a week, there's a few bits that I've just been thinking about, and these are the tweaks I'm making. So first is the installation. I'm going to put this sitting this underneath it. So this is going to go, this is a fireboard, this is a heat resistant fireboard. That's going to go down. The mounting is going to sit on top. There'll still be clearance, as I say, from the lagged exhaust off of this as well, so you'll have an air gap also, but again, I'd rather have a little bit too much than not enough. The idea of a fire on a boat is truly terrifying. So yeah, let's make sure that we've done all we can there. Here we go, we've got the first bit of lagging on. As I say, this lagging now coming through this hole. The bracket is now fitted, which is really just keeping the pipe from wobbling around and moving. In the background there you can see the chain plates over a year on, still rust free and bone dry, always good. So that's the first bit done. Now let's get the rest on. So we've got some fire gum exhaust assembly paste, which is, wow, really runny. Which we're going to smother all around here, again just to help give it an even better seal. This exhaust system obviously only has two connections, this one here and then the one at the base of the machine, so in both of those zones we have a carbon monoxide alarm. Again, just seems like the most sensible place to have them. Two might be overkill, but hey, maybe I'll put a third in, who knows.
Third one by the batteries, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, I think a carbon monoxide alarm at either side, maybe even putting two on either side, you know, like you say, just in case the battery dies. But again, if you check them regularly, we should be able to keep up to speed with how the batteries are doing. So yeah, now that's all lagged off, clamped off, exhaust pasted off, that can't wobble anywhere, and yeah, pretty happy with that. Pretty dang happy with that. Okay, so now we've had the heater up and running for a couple of weeks with all the little tweaks and changes and adjustments we've made as we've gone along. Let me give you a guided tour and show you the finished product, which again, this is not a how-to video, this is a how we did it, why we did it video. Come and have a look. Okay, so here we'll start at the beginning with the power. Now remember, I'm not an electrician. I'm not a heating installer either. I am a complete DIYer. I've never done anything like this before. I've just watched YouTube videos, talked to people in forums and tried to figure it out as best as I can. But here we've got the extension of our boat's battery bank, a couple of additional solar charge controllers here, some bus bars for the additional solar that I added to the boat, which I will go into detail with in a future point. But our heater has a very short run electrically in here to gain its power. And then through here the heater is now running. It's been running for quite a long time. And here, as you can see, all the additional exhaust lagging. Here we've got the fuel pump ticking away, and the only point of potential failure that I was really concerned about here was potentially the exhaust where it connects. As I say, we've got an all-in-one system, connects this end and then to the outlet. So because of that, we've got a permanently mounted carbon monoxide alarm here, which again we can take it off and all looks good. So this will let us know if anything starts to go wrong with the exhaust. This bar here is nothing really, it's just a piece of metal that I wrapped in fiberglass to protect the electrical wires that run underneath there from the exhaust. Potentially it's before I lagged it, but it turns out we haven't really needed it at all. But still, it's a little bit of additional protection for anything getting overheated. The ducting for the heating, all insulated here, runs out into the cabin that I'm in now, and also into the bedroom. Here we have the heat being piped out, which is lovely. Here we have the main control panel. And as I say, you can turn the power up or down here. It's actually not a temperature gauge, it's measured in power in hertz. So the power goes all the way up to 5.5 hertz. That's maximum power, and that'll start blasting away there. And you can go all the way down to 1.6 hertz. But we like to have it sort of somewhere in the middle, and that keeps the boat toasty and warm. Maybe 3. And this has been running now for probably an hour or so, and like I say, I can touch the exhaust. So this is the exhaust heavily lagged quite close to the heater itself, and I say I can put my hand around that and it is still very warm, but it's not burn me warm, which if it's not burn me warm, then hopefully it's not burn the boat down, set everything on fire warm. But again, I can put my hand around that and that exhaust is really nice and warm, but it's not burn me hot. I can touch that, I can put my whole hand around that, and as I say, I can hold my hand around that for quite a long time. Okay, now the boat is all back together again. When all the cupboards are closed and the cushions are put back, the noise of the heater is really seriously reduced. It's not bad at all. In fact, the only thing I would say is quite persistent is the clicking of the fuel pump. But for a warm, dry boat, quite frankly, it's a price I'm willing to pay. So we've been fairly slack the last couple of weeks on the video production front, and that's really just been because Carly has been 100% focused on just getting well, doing as little as possible and just trying to recover from her pneumonia. And at exactly the same time, I've had a huge amount of opportunities working with the marina and the guys in the marina, and I've been all over the place in Brighton and Chatham and working here and working really long hours, learning lots, but at the same time, most importantly, putting some money back into the sailing kitty. But now the Carly's bouncing back, in no small part, I'm sure, thanks to having a warmer boat and some antibiotics. You'll be seeing us back on the regular, and I think Carly's going to be featuring a lot more in the videos during this period because, as I say, I've got huge commitments now work-wise, which I'm really looking forward to, and so you can have a bit of time with Carly as we whisk our way through some of our winter projects. Anyway, it's the festive season, and I hope you all get to see your loved ones. I hope you're all staying safe and well, and as I say, I hope you can have as good a festive season as 2020 will let you have. Anyway, that's all from us, and remember, not a how-to video. Not a how-to video. Bye for now.